friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Intuitive Living with Jennifer Jean, and I'm Jennifer Jean. So today we're going to talk about psychics making predictions and how sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. So anyway, I think that most people consult a psychic because they want to pinpoint specific timelines. They want to know when they're going to meet their soulmate. They may want to know when they can start a business or buy some big ticket item or something like that. But sometimes the predictions don't always line up with the desires. So I'm going to talk today about why that might happen. So first of all, we have what's called free will, and we've all heard of that. And what that means is that sometimes our will is greater than that of the psychic that's reading for us. So it may be a psychic has their own expectations about what's going on in your life, or maybe just thinks that's what's best for you. And you really have to decide if you want somebody else creating your life. I really don't want a psychic telling me how to live my life. I want to co-create that and see what's going on and see if I can move it into a higher realm. So it's just not that easy to make predictions about this, and I think clients get really disappointed when I can't pinpoint exactly when they're going to meet somebody, what color of hair they're going to have, or whatnot. So I try to be a little bit judicious about making predictions of that nature. And sometimes, even though I make these predictions for people, they may have kind of a negative mindset and they're like, well, this will never happen for me, or I won't get that great job. And then they don't do anything about it. So it doesn't really matter if you're making a great prediction or not. But sometimes you have to look at the blockages in order to get them to the other side. Also, what if you're going along in life and you change your mind about what you want? So does that still mean that the prediction's going to come true? So you can gather up everything you're doing at that point and move it in a different direction if you want to. That's the beauty of free will, and that's why I always teach that to my clients before anything else. So here's something that's kind of tricky too. I may make a prediction and it may actually be wrong at first, and then later things happen in a different timeline or when that person is actually ready, and that's where synchronicity comes in. So I have an example from my own life. My husband and I were looking for homes last summer, and we couldn't find anything we wanted. So we found 2 pieces of land that we liked. And I consulted a psychic about which land would be the best to build a home. And she said the one that was over on the west side of town, but we kept looking to the one on the east side of town. And we ended up buying that one. And she said, no, that the magic is going to be in the one that's on the west side of town. So fast forward, we started to build a house and it just was not going well. And we loved the land, we loved the neighborhood it was in, but it just wasn't working out. So we ended up finding our dream home over back on the west side of town. So it just wasn't meant to happen at the time. And I think I was trying to force the timeline and trying to have it done right away. But the universe said, no, we're going to have you wait till the following year to find the perfect house, your dream house, which we did. So anyway, I believe that this psychic was actually right. It just didn't happen in the timeline that I had hoped it would. I think really that manifestation happens when you're ready, and we can speed up or slow down the timeline if we want to. And that's another beautiful thing about free will. Okay, here's another area that is a little bit tricky, and that is global prediction. At the beginning of the year, all of these psychics and astrologers make their predictions for the new year. And I think that's great. I love watching them. I probably watched about 100 so far. But I find that the predictions that they make don't always come true. I mean, in complete opposite. And I'm going to give kind of a controversial example is the presidential elections. So many psychics and astrologers predicted that Harris would win here in the United States. And when it didn't happen, they seemed to be kind of offended, or they justified it by saying, well, the universe wanted a different reality at the time, or, it wasn't meant to be, but I'm still right because it's still going to happen. And I think it's really dangerous to make those big predictions. And I never do this because there's always a chance you're going to be wrong. And it could have some big consequences. So I really don't make those kind of predictions. I love hearing them, but I myself don't like to make them. I just think this is one area where we really can't play God. And I hate to say, I think sometimes some psychics and astrologers can wrap up their ego in it. And I just think that it's good, if you're wrong, just admit that you're wrong, rather than say the universe had a different plan. But anyway, that's my take on global predictions. Okay, so is it possible to make your own predictions? Absolutely. My clients do this all the time. They'll come to me and say, oh, I threw down some of these tarot cards and I got this. And that's fine. I'm happy to look at that with them. But absolutely, you can make your own predictions. You can use a magic 8-ball if you want to, or you can use the pendulum. It may not be right, but it's, sometimes it's fun. And that's why we always say for entertainment purposes only. But what are some better ways to make your own predictions? So the first one is to visualize. Use your powers of clairvoyance and just set in a meditative position and listen to your guides, your angels, or whoever you work with. And you will get sometimes timelines, or they'll say, you're not supposed to know this right now. If you really listen to that voice, you will be guided. Trust me. The other thing is you can use tools such as tarot cards and other things, but with the cards, there's some specific things you can do. So if you're using a standard Rider-Waite deck, you can look at numbers in the cards and you can assign it hours, weeks, months, whatever you want to do to predict and look ahead that far. You can also use the suits of the cards to predict seasons, and that to me is the most accurate. So for example, the swords is winter, the wands are spring, I believe, and the cups are summertime. So if you use this way of predicting things in the season, sometimes I don't get the absolute right month, but I can look at the season and say, okay, anywhere from March till June. And that seems to work pretty well for me. So the best way to make predictions is really to create your own reality, I think, and just to put yourself out there. What do you really want in life? And just write it down. Say you want to make a big trip to Europe next summer, just start saving up the money and say, I'm going to Europe. And put all of your intentions out there. That to me is the best way to predict your own futures, to actually take action on it and make it happen for yourself. And I think this is the best way to make your own predictions. So I would be happy to help you create your best life. I may not always make accurate predictions or tell you that if something's going to happen at a certain time, but we can co-create that together. We can look at where you are right now and project it into the future to have the best life that you want to have. And even if I do make predictions, I'm not going to candy coat it, and I'm not going to tell you everything you want to know. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to help you to create your own reality. So what do you think about predictions? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to hear all of your opinions on the subject. So how can you reach me? You can reach my website at readingsbyjenniferjean.com or send me an email at readingsbyjenniferjean@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching my video today, and I hope that you live intuitively ever after. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.